light side
of the paranormal.
This is Alice.
And this is Jenna.
And today we're going to be explaining hauntings to you.
Different types.
Yeah, most people don't know that there are two different types of hauntings. And I feel like this is a big reason why a lot of people discount the reality of a haunting being something that's actually real.
Yeah.
Because lots of people don't understand that there are two different classes of hauntings. So if you don't know a lot about hauntings, this might really clear this up for you. I know when I figured this out, it was a very like aha moment, like
Same.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yes, because when you're just hearing stories of like different experiences with different types of hauntings, you're thinking, well, why is this so inconsistent?
Yeah, like why does this happen, but this didn't happen this time? And
yeah.
This will clear that up for you.
Makes sense now.
So the two different kinds of hauntings are intelligent, which also can be called interactive, and the second kind is residual hauntings. So the difference, briefly, before we get into the points of each one, is that an intelligent haunting is a haunting where you have a spirit that is intelligent, it is aware of what's going on, it is communicating with you, it is moving things, stuff like that, compared to a residual haunting, which is more like an imprint that was left on a location that people see occur kind of on a loop, like watching a clip play, kind of like when you see the ghost walk from this room to the next right through the wall. They didn't even see you, they're not there. It's a mindless ghost compared to an interactive one where it is there, it is interacting with you.
Presently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now you can tell us about an intelligent haunting.
All right. Intelligent or interactive? This one, in my opinion, is more exciting. I don't know. That's
or
just
more
like,
frightening if you are scared of this kind of thing.
That's true, yeah. Depending on your feelings about it, it can be scarier. I think that's why I am more drawn to it. So during intelligent or interactive hauntings, the spirit is aware of the living world and things that are happening presently. This is the type of haunting usually found in like horror films and stuff like that, where people are able to actually communicate with the spirit actively, and where the spirit can communicate with the person as well. Moving objects are very common in this type of haunting. So the spirit or entity is present, like I had said earlier, and they're able to act freely in the moment. So the spirit may have made the decision to stay in this world. And now this could be for so many reasons, which we actually did touch on more in our near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences video, which we will link in the description. I'm so good at saying that, I say it all the time. Some of the reasons why they may have chosen to stay is because they're attached to a living person and they don't want to leave them, or they're attached to a location or an object they may be attached to in our world.
Also, if you didn't watch our near-death experience video, we also had kind of a theory that they were staying or choosing to stay because they don't want to move forward for whatever reason. Maybe it's too painful to relive the stuff that they regret, so they choose to stay instead.
They may feel like they have a purpose, or like they have to right a wrong before they feel as though they can move on and feel good about like
that reminds me of like Disney's like Casper, like unfinished business.
Totally.
Yeah.
True.
They have unfinished business.
Exactly. Or they just may not realize that they're dead. Physical actions are most common with this type of haunting. This may include slamming, locking, unlocking, moving doors, windows, drawers, things like that. This also includes poltergeist activity. And I mean, we could get into that in a whole other video. Comment down below if you want us to talk about poltergeist experiences. But if you don't know what that is, it's basically when spirit is typically more violent and will move objects in your room around in an unnatural way.
Yeah, most spirits don't move things unless it's, I find like good spirits, they'll move things to be helpful. Like,
yes.
Or leave keys or something for you, or when
some
you couldn't find them.
Though.
Yes, but often kids will play with you and like take your things and stuff like that. Whereas poltergeists, we'll do a video about that.
Yeah.
But poltergeists are a little bit more malicious when it comes to stuff like that. That's when you get like all the cupboards opening at once, things like that.
Sometimes you'll hear voices or sounds, but they typically will correlate or react with what you're doing in that moment.
Right.
Many people experience the feeling of a strong presence in the room. Like you feel like someone's with you or watching you.
It's like a living person has walked in or something when nobody's there.
Yes. You can have a certain scent drift through the air, but the scent will not be recurring. It's just like you'll get like a waft of perfume if you're, say, around like a person who wears that perfume.
Right.
But it's not going to be recurring as it would be with a residual haunting, which we will get into more after. People will experience clairsentience or like touch during these types of hauntings, and they may manifest themselves in like a figure or sometimes a mist. So an example of my own experience with an interactive or intelligent haunting would be my haunted apartment situation. And if you don't know about that, we do have a 2-part series about an apartment that I lived in previously that was haunted. So we are going to put links to that in the description as well. So let's move on to residual hauntings.
So a residual haunting is a little bit more like an energy imprint that was left on a location. The spirit is usually not aware of what is going on. They are just replaying a situation over and over again. So there's either that side of it or the side of it that it is just an imprint that is left. The spirit is not actually there. They have moved on into afterlife, but this kind of movie style clip of something they did every day or some type of
traumatic event?
Yeah, traumatic or like life-changing or life-altering situation that happened to them just replays over and over again. The other side of that is maybe the spirit is, still there, just they are unaware that they have died and they are just reliving the same thing over and over again with no knowledge that there are living beings around them. These spirits you cannot interact with. It's just like seeing somebody walk through a wall and you see that same person. You see that happen all the time, like, oh, there's the white lady who walks through the wall. There she is again. Oh,
and you could be like, hey you!
Yeah,
and they just wouldn't know that you're there.
This doesn't always have to be something that you see. This can be, some people report like hearing children playing at night or something. Maybe something happened in the past where this home or where this happens had a lot of kids and that energy imprint has been left for whatever reason. Obviously there's no way to prove it or know why. Sometimes I guess you could know why it happens, but so like hearing things or hearing a baby cry or hearing a door slam, maybe something really bad happened and that person stormed out right before they got in a car accident or something, so that door slamming, it wouldn't necessarily be the door slamming, probably just the sound that's left over. Also recurrent smells, like this one room is known to smell like so-and-so's perfume, like she has just left her own essence in this room. After she passed, she's not there, just her essence is kind of left in smell form. Almost like you're stepping into like a movie, seeing a clip of a movie happen. So often with residual hauntings, people don't feel the feeling of a presence there. Like it's happening, but there's no real life form kind of that's there. It's just the imprint.
Right.
There's no warning of like, oh, I feel somebody's there, and then it happens. It just happens with no warning. Residual hauntings are the most common type of haunting, which kind of makes a lot of sense. We are made of a lot of energy, and it makes sense that stuff would be left behind. So I find it interesting that you could almost view this kind of like, if you don't believe in the afterlife, but you believe in stuff like this, maybe an intelligent haunting is an overlap of dimensions. Perhaps when you die, you go to a different dimension, and our dimension overlaps with other dimensions, and so these kind of beings can interact with us. You know what I mean? Like maybe the veil is very thin between these dimensions instead of between life and death. I mean, they have died, but maybe it's not like heaven, it's like another dimension, another state of being, and they overlap. Whereas a residual haunting, you could look at it kind of like where time overlaps, where you see something that happened a long time ago, almost like time is like folding in on itself. Like maybe time is not linear and it's just layers upon layers, and you're kind of seeing something that already happened.
Well, it makes sense what you're saying, obviously, with both points, but in speaking about what you said about the intelligent form of hauntings, with having that veil of the other dimension so close to us, because something that I didn't actually mention when I was speaking about intelligent hauntings is that these spirits can actually like visit our dimension and then leave again to the spirit realm. They have that option to kind of pass through, so it makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah.
So an example of a residual haunting that I experienced would be if you watched our first childhood paranormal experiences video, link in the description. I used to hear when I would try and go to sleep at night as a child. I grew up in an old schoolhouse in this super small town. Just watch the video if you want to hear the story in detail, but I would constantly hear when I was going to bed the sound of children, like as if it was just called for recess, and they would be like rushing down the hall and laughing and playing and talking really, really loud in like a group past the hallway, past my bedroom. And I'd be like, oh, there goes those darn kids again. But it was that same sound every night when I would try and go to sleep. So again, with that loop, right? Like the children may not have actually been there over and over and over again. It could have just been that same playback of what they used to do every day at the schoolhouse.
So thank you for joining us. So hopefully this kind of cleared things up for you when it comes to the two different kinds of hauntings. So now you don't have to kind of wonder like, how come that ghost doesn't hear that person, but that ghost moves stuff around? Or how come the ghost in my house never tries to communicate with me or something? There are two different kinds. Maybe the ghost, maybe this answers things for you. Maybe the ghost in your house is not really an active or interactive ghost. And then maybe your mind can be a little bit more at ease.
And give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new or if you just found it really interesting to watch.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you like paranormal content or if you like our content, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you get notified every single time that we upload. And don't forget
to live your life with love and light. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
A great way to remember it. Oh my God. Fuck, I can't talk. A great way to remember what an I'll tell this after. Fuck.
You need a minute.